So I guess the first question is, anybody got any questions at all straight off? I'm hoping you can hear me and I'm hoping you can see me. Let me know with a thumbs up if you can. Just about to make a cup of tea. Thank you, Pascal. Thank you very much. I will try and say thank you in between the chatting. So how did my online stalker situation start? Well, this is for the people who've not viewed the video. Started in August just with caller ID, no caller ID on my iPhone, calling me to start with probably 20 or 30 times. And then it just increased as the days went on. On average, it was 100 a day. And it shows up on your phone as no caller ID. You can't do anything. You can't write to them. You can't block them. You can't do anything. Which is rather frustrating, even though Apple have put in a provision that you can actually you can stop no caller ID, but it also stops any other call that comes into your phone with a number that you've not saved, which I think is ridiculous option, because we don't want no caller IDs and we don't want unknown numbers or withheld. Most of us probably have people who call us on numbers that we can see but aren't saved in our phone. You never know who that might be. And so I think that's a useful one to do, or put them into different categories. No caller ID, numbers not in your phone, but not both. Because the reason that I do need both is for my business. I've run this business for 20 years and I've had the same phone number. I haven't paused anything knowingly. No, I've no idea if it's paused. It's not down to me. I don't know what I can do to unpause it. Wow. Unless TikTok have paused it. Darren, this is about online stalkers. This isn't that sort of site, to be honest, really. I think you're on the wrong site. I'm just going to carry on talking about my online stalkers situation that I've now resolved. If you wish to talk about anything else, then I can't do that on here. TikTok's not that sort of site. And please be mindful of that, considering the subject we're talking about. I thought there'd be people who were genuinely interested, but there's obviously people on here who aren't genuinely interested, and you're not the ones I'm talking to. So this no caller is a bit of a tricky thing. As I say, you can't block it. And there's nothing you can do about that. Linda, thank you very much for your lovely compliments. Linda Miles, oh my goodness me, only 42 followers. How sad for you. I don't need your opinion like that. If you were siding with me and agreeing about online stalkers, then I might have more to say to you. But I don't. Good afternoon. Thank you for those lovely little hearts that are going up the side. So, say, I got to the point where I found out you can't block the no caller. Number, so I had to give up with that. Knox, I'm going to have to report you because that is really not funny in this day and age, and you're now blocked, and I'm going to have to report you, unfortunately, because that is not acceptable. It really isn't. Considering the situation I'm talking about on here. And if you think that's funny, then that's not funny at all, really, is it? Please stop asking if I'd like to chat to you. I don't know you. If you do want to join in on one of my chats on one of the subjects we're talking about and you've got something to contribute, then please do message me somehow, and then we'll be able to see if it's going to be suitable for you to come on here. Anybody who wants to ask about wanting to come on here will get blocked straight away, because it's not that sort of conversation today. It's about online stalkers. And I really hope that there'll be a lot more people who are going to take this seriously and not just be here for different reasons. It does actually put me off doing lives on here, I have to say, because you wonder what... there's a lot of ladies on here who've had a lot of issues, and we really don't need the sort of responses we're getting. So... thank you very much. Hey, I blocked that person. How come it's still there? That is ridiculous. I'm just trying to block that person and it won't do it. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Oh. Clarky, thank you very much. Thank you for those gifts. Beautiful little hearts going up the side. Whoever's sending those, thank you very much. So, and the other thing I did find out as soon as I realised that I couldn't block this person was that an unknown number or a no caller ID can leave you messages, voicemails on your phone. I didn't know they could do that either. But one good thing Apple have put in place, I'm guessing if you've got the latest update, anybody who leaves you messages... Ooh, little heart there at the bottom. I don't know. Oh, thank you, Peter. No, you can't, Oscar. It's not possible. You can block no caller IDs and any other number that isn't in your phone. You can't do one or the other. I was on to Apple several times and even they tried. It's not possible to do. So I would have to block every single number that I don't know that comes into my work business phone. And those numbers, some of those could actually be beneficial to my business. So there's no point in me blocking those. Absolutely. Thank you, Riz. So on the messages, this is great if you want this facility. Apple have done this and it's brilliant. When somebody leaves you a message, especially a no caller ID or an unknown number, the actual message now is written out so you can see it. I think they've done that as an accessibility feature. So that was great for me because I could copy all what he said and record his voice. Oh, Silver Fox, absolutely. But there are no online laws. There is not one. They've got no online laws at all. And then nobody wants to put their head above the parapet and start that off, which is such a shame in this country. Let me tell you the further story and then you'll be even more stunned what the police said. If you watch the video, you'll know what I'm going to say. So I put up with this 100 times a day at least. Luckily, it was daytime, very rarely evening, and very rarely early morning. If you want to ask a question, please do, and I'll try and answer it in between. And so I had to have my phone on silent. I had to have it with no vibrate. I have the flashing light that comes on the back of your phone that flashes when your phone rings or a text. That's possible to do through accessibility on your settings on an iPhone. And I used to like that because if I was travelling or my phone was in the bag, I knew it was. Oscar, my number's everywhere. It wouldn't matter whether I took it off here. That's my business number of 20 years. I've got to put my business number out there for my business because that's what I do. It's an online business. And so I was missing calls, I was missing business, I was missing opportunities, all because I had to have my phone on silent. But Gordon, I can't. It's my business number. If I change my number today, I've got to put it out there tomorrow, else I don't have a business. I'm just going to ignore some of the remarks because otherwise I'm just going to be blocking so many people. And, you know, I'm just going to not do that. And that... Lots of lovely hearts, though. So I put up with it and put up with it. And at one point in September, I phoned the police. And I was absolutely stunned at their response. I told the story up to that point and said, you know, it's causing an effect on my business. I'm losing business. This person constantly phones. I have answered the phone and asked what they want, and I can't offer what they want. And she said, change your number. That'll solve your problem. You can't change your number of 20 years because all it'll do, he'll call again tomorrow morning with the new number. Thank you, Suraj. Thank you very much. Stevie, if you go and look at everything I do on here, I'm sure you can work it out. I'll give you a little clue. It's to do with a vegetable. I'm using that as an analogy. Corn. There you go. Follow the link on the bio. Yeah, but I can't change the number, Gordon, because he'll call tomorrow. It doesn't help. My number has to be out there. And I know some people will say, well, there you are. That's your job. What do you expect? No. Doesn't matter what job you do. You shouldn't get harassed and stalked by people online at all. So I ignored all of that. And he said, absolutely. Came onto Skype. So I gave him the free 5 minutes. It wasn't all free. Well, not free. I didn't do a lot in that time. Thank you for a little crown on my head, Peter. Thank you very much. Jack Murphy. Hey, this is called Online Stalker, this live stream. I really don't think that's appropriate, do you? When we're talking about online stalkers. So I went on to Skype. We were doing the free 5 minutes. In that time, I was asking him questions. Like, where do you live? I like your accent. What do you do as a job? He told me a little bit of information. I said, right, we've done the 5 minutes. That's it. I have said we're done. There is no more calls, messages, anything. We clicked off. But let me tell you what I did while I was on the Skype call. I had my video, my phone, on my tripod, stood at the side here. He couldn't see it. I videoed the whole thing because halfway through the show, I said to him, you know what would make my day? How about you put your cam on? I don't have to see your face. I just got to know you're real because you might be AI. And you know what he did? He put his face on the cam. So I'm videoing all of this. He doesn't know this. I'm videoing it all. Finished the 5 minutes. Said thanks very much. Oh, wow, Peter, thank you very much. They look beautiful on the screen. If you're wondering what I'm keep doing, because my phone is through, text through, WhatsApp through, do not disturb doesn't work at all. Thank you very much. Oscar. I'm just not even going to answer that, to be fair. So I phoned the police again and said, hey, what are you going to do? Now I've done your job for you. I've got this video of this person. I've got his face. He can do facial recognition. I've got Skype ID. So all you've got to do is go off and find him. I sent them all the call logs for 3 months. I sent them the video. I sent them the Skype ID. She said, I'll be in touch. I was on the phone for an hour and a half. Nearly 3 weeks later, I'd heard nothing. Not a thing. The calls hadn't stopped, the messages, but it got worse. Because now he was calling on Skype and sending me messages and pictures. So it sort of didn't actually benefit that part of it. If I'm ignoring you, it's a very good reason. Because there's some very rude people on here. I am pretty disgusted, to be fair, what you're actually writing on a stream that is about online stalkers. I would put you in the same category as him. Not you, Mark, at all. No. But if you can read some of the messages that are on here that I'm reading, I would put all of you who are writing disgusting things in the same category. So stop it. Dan, I'm just going to ignore the rest, so you can just keep writing whatever you like. But I think this is really important, and there just might be one person out there who learns something and be able to get rid of a stalker. Don't you think that's really important? I do. Let's just hope the ones who are writing not very nice stuff get stalked, maybe. So I didn't hear from the police, phoned them back twice. Nothing was updated, nothing was done. I phoned them again and said, I expect you to phone me back. Let's put a date in the diary, and if you don't, I will be putting in a complaint. I can't be bothered because I'll be blocking permanently and I wouldn't have time to talk. Maybe that's their whole point of doing it, maybe. So I did get a date last Thursday and the police phoned back. Absolutely useless. Again, like a lot of you asked, how did he get your number? Remember, I've done this 20 years. I've only ever had 3 incidents in 20 years. So I don't think that's on odds, not that you want them, but that's not a bad odd considering the job I do. Then he said, do you know if you go to court with this, you've got to actually tell people what you do? I don't care. That should not be relevant, what I do. He brought that up right at the beginning, which absolutely astounded me. And I said, well, I'll be happy to write a victim impact statement when I go to court, but what I will be saying on it is how much money he's lost me and what's my compensation. And then the next question he asked was, have I got any issue with the police accessing my medical records? I can't even believe they asked that. I have no issue. But why aren't you going to get his medical records? I hope you're asking him the same question if we ever got to court. By this point, it was an hour. Zach, of course you can. Ask away as long as it's relevant to this chat. There is link on my profile here for you to get in touch with me. I'm sure you can find out where. There's lots of options, YouTube, Instagram, and the link off my bio. Exactly, Doodoo, I've no idea. I think where he was going, let's see, because of the job you do, are you a little bit, not quite there? All about this, so you can go and see it. Please do, go and have a read. Absolutely, that's me. I'm everywhere. Thanks very much for spotting me, though. I put this video on, and I thought, tell you what, why don't I send the stalker the link to it? So I sent it to his Skype. I tell you what, the responses were unbelievable. I was a vile person. I was a horrible person. I was disgusting. I was going against his human rights because I'd mentioned about a stalker and put the key points that he told me. He lived in Glasgow. He worked in a factory. He said, you are disgusting. Said, not as disgusting as you phoning me 100, 200 times a day for 3 months. Who's the disgusting one? So then I thought, how are we going to get him to stop? So because I'd done this little video of him, I took screenshots of his picture because he moved angles a few times. I took these screenshots, sent him the screenshots and said, right, you stop this now, you stop it today, no more calls, no more anything, or I will create another TikTok video with your pictures in. And your voice, because I've got that recorded, and what you've said on the Skype video of where you live and what you do. I said, the choice is yours. That was last Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Not heard from him since. Don't call me bluff, because I'll do it. I was prepared to do it. I was prepared to put his picture up on here. Somebody would know him. So that's hopefully it. I'm not sure it will be. You never know. But that's what I was prepared to go down the lengths to, because the police didn't do anything and wouldn't. Hey, thanks very much. I mean, you know, it's not a thanks pat on your back. I've had to sort myself out, which we shouldn't have to do. I do wonder what we're paying for in this country with the police. They are absolutely useless, Oscar. That was disgraceful. They really should have done something, even if they did facial recognition and went to visit him once. Absolutely, Dave. Yeah, absolutely, he did. Telling me that I'm vile and I'm going against his human rights. Can't do anything. You can't do a thing. I don't know how to find him. I'm not bothered anymore. And I know the sad bit is, I bet he's obviously harassing somebody else and there's nothing I can do about that. Which is really sad, isn't it, if he is? Because he won't stop. Somebody who does that. So there we are. There's lots of tips and tricks you can do out there. And it's always a case of collating information, but there is a lot you can do yourself. So if there is anybody watching this who doesn't want to ask here, because of obviously all the types of questions and responses and comments that are not appropriate, then please